And the Burlington-based architect firm scored highest for all members that scored. I think there were 5 of us, maybe 6, that scored. And we, I think, as we talked about their proposals, it seemed like the Gouliot, Vivian, and Beeman out of Burlington had more hours that were allotted to the work, fewer assumptions of what work we'd already done. And they do include community input in their rendering their drawings. And they have past experience in Franklin County. I did talk to Dominic Cloud at St. Albans, and the principal he works with, her name is Chi. I believe she lives in Montpelier, or at least has a house there. And he said she is exceptional. Her work is always on time. She's easy to communicate with. Yeah, he just couldn't say enough about her, that he wishes she was on staff because they have so much work. She's now working on the Messenger building, trying to figure out how that will be configured. And then the other person I spoke with was a fellow who was part of a Starksboro Community Center. And they did schematic drawings for converting their community center and fire station into usable spaces, functioning spaces. So I guess from the committee's point of view, we'd like the select board to award the contract to GVV from Burlington. I don't know if you have any questions.
Is there a maximum amount, dollar amount?
Yes, so it would be the cost of their scope of work was $13,400. The grant, we got $13,500 for this portion of the planning grant. So they bid under.
Yeah, okay.
$100 reserve.
$100, yeah.
Is there a match for the town?
It was 200, I mean, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, it's 20% or 10%, actually 10%. Planning grants are 10%, right?
It was $2,100. Yeah.
This does set in motion a trajectory. This seems like really good due diligence and done a great job, and you're doing there. But it does, for the record, it does. I mean, I think this is the first time.
Step.
This is a step.
Yeah. Yeah.
But short of other courses of action, it's probably a very reasonable step.
I'm a big bad guy because I'm not a fan of the building. What is our end goal of this? I mean, the architect's going to look at it and say, yeah, you can use it? Do we have any?
No, there'll be a schematic for the uses that the committee has kind of come up after school program, plus some recreation space, changing rooms, bathrooms. And third floor is kind of, that use is undetermined, but probably some kind of community use there. There are a few of us who have entertained a living space up there, but we're not sure if that is feasible or not.
I guess my take on it was kind of, and I acknowledge I missed a meeting here and there and I haven't been super involved, but I thought we were more going to, here's our proposed uses, and then we're going to look at, feasibility and which way we go with it. And I'm not knocking, you guys do a ton of work, I love it. But has anybody looked at, is it worth putting $1 million into that building versus taking it down and putting something else up there?
We did look at that in our initial, this would have been a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Yeah.
There have been some updates, regular updates to the board, I think, that you haven't been here for. And the meeting information is all on the website, but the meetings have been taking place regularly to discuss that as well. The current grant that was received outlines everything that's on the website as well as part of the process. And the money that they received to do this included this item as a primary piece of it. So, and that was presented to you as a package a while ago.
Yeah, but I don't think we've ever, I don't think, sharing some of
Yeah,
Dave's concerns, I don't think we have never said, we're going this far. What the activity was scoping what was possible. And, in my mind, I almost see this is a reasonable amount of money to help scope and move towards a town meeting vote that says, hey folks, what do you guys want to do? Because
Right.
my limited experience with construction is you want the best dollar, you start over, you start from scratch. And we're gonna have a building that is gonna be, got some historical context, it's got a great spot in the community. We really wanna, make it better, but that might mean, Wayne starting over from scratch with something.
So I want to just mention that the RFP, actually part of what they would be doing is that a series of meetings to do.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at, is the architect would help scope, but I think it's still,
Right, so it's a kickoff meeting and providing, getting in, there would be a postcard that goes out, there would be input into the design and what the uses would look like. There's the architectural product is really the final part of this whole process. So they put out an RFP that would help with the entirety of the process of public meetings, getting information from the community, getting a design that could then be utilized at town meetings so that the whole synopsis would be clear with the public. But you're right, I mean, it is part and parcel. There's no reason to have.
I feel like it's been, again, Julie, I'm not knocking you, but it's been continual updates, and I kind of saw it as we're gonna come to a point where we decide which way do we do, what do we do, where do we go. I decide.
yeah.
I drive around every little town in Vermont, and there's tons of these big buildings sitting there that got repurposed, and now they're vacant. And I just want to make sure that we do our due diligence and don't end up with that same thing.
Are they gonna line up with the cost estimate?
Is that part of the scope of work? I'm not sure. I wasn't involved in the grant writing. Rena couldn't be here tonight.
The grant?
No,
That came in
the municipal planning grant was,
Yeah, the municipal planning grant was received months ago.
Ron's question is attached at the end of this process with these architects.
Right, is the architect.
Is there going to be a cost estimate? And I didn't know if that was part of the
Yes, that is
scope
part of
work.
it. So, number 8 of the RFP is prepare opinion of probable costs. So there's a phasing implemented. I brought this to a previous meeting, but I can go make some photocopies of the
I
RFP.
think we're good.
This is also the bid documents, if you want to look at the two.
I think we're good, but what we're clarifying is, this activity, for the town skin in the game, a couple $1,000, is to say, where are we going? And I think where we're going is, we're gonna have a thoughtful look at what it could look like with cost. And then, it's my opinion that we should be driving towards town meeting and saying, hey, this is one possibility. There's probably there's a myriad of possibilities, but one is, this is what it could look like. We could start over, or we could make a green space, and folks, what do you, but.
I guess I want to make sure we have our hands
Yes.
on the reins and we're not just running down the hill saying
Yep.
we're doing something.
Yeah, their process goes through March, so I think it's perfect, it'll be perfect timing for
Well,
town
I
meeting.
think that's a reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll make a motion to you're asking for permission for the selection?
Yes,
For the architect and the septic study, or both?
well,
or-
we should talk about that separately. And,
Okay.
I mean, you can make, we can talk about that now, and you can
Let's talk
put it
about it
all
now.
into
Let's talk.
Yeah, so Greta went back to the folks that did the wastewater study that the select board requested. I don't know if that was over a year ago. And really, that study was just determining what the capacity was for the present system. And we felt as a committee that even before we go, or contingent with the architectural work we're going to do, and we need to know if there is space there for a system that could accommodate the potential uses of that structure. I mean, I'm convinced that the septic system that's there is, I mean, it's hardly present, you know. I don't know, Tom, it's been a long time since anything was done
Nothing
there.
about it.
Yeah,
It's probably better that way.
yeah. I mean, I don't, yeah, anyway, and I
Well,
think it's
in the words
prudent.
of the former Secretary of A&R, if it's a Volkswagen and it's buried in the ground and it's before 2007, it's legal.
Yeah, and that's about what it is.
Not that that's a good practice.
I mean-
That's not a good practice. I'm just,
But when
for the record.
when the school and everything was there, there's nothing has ever surfaced. So I don't know where it all is going or whatever it's doing is working unless there's a direct pipe to the.
Down here to the brook.
Right.
But I mean, there's never any smell
No.
or anything ever came to the surface. I mean, over in East Fairfield it used to be, but
I guess where does that fall in though with the cost was?
So the planning grant did allot $3,000 for a scoping study to do some test pits to see if there is room.
Because that would
So now we're up to
definitely not be
5,000,
part of
right?
this.
2,000 for this one and the 3,000 for.
No, we already have that money in as part of the grant.
So this is different, this is a totally separate contract,
Yeah,
totally
but
separate, we haven't even.
Let's
bid
not
it
even
out or
have the
anything.
conversation until we know what the use is. We don't know what the flow rate is.
Uh-huh,
Let's not even go there.
uh-huh.
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
there's road, there's not much room there. Figure out if we can use the building, and then we deal with the septic, because more than likely it'll have to get pumped somewhere, so.
Uh-huh.
But if the municipal planning grant has $3,000 for further investigation of wastewater capacity and you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. So, in terms of meetings, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 meetings, working meetings planned with the architectural firm. And then public meetings, some other public meetings, and a kickoff meeting. So there's time, I mean, and this would be over the course of, until March. So there's time to sort of, there's gonna be some work that's gonna get done with the discussions anyway. So taking time to maybe fit in more conversation. I would invite I mean, I know that you've been involved with this a little bit too. I haven't really been involved as much, just through the writing that the select board is appointed me to, but.
Yeah, so Kathy's suggestion is just to wait and have this conversation kind of in the context of the meetings, and do it, and we can decide, the select board can decide to go into some septic work or not. You know, in February or January.
Yeah, at this point, you're putting
Yeah.
the horse in front of the cart in front of the
Right.
horse. There's no
Right,
point in that.
okay. So we'll come back to you maybe with that. And I think with the terms of the grant, we're still within the timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So a single motion on the firm would be great.
okay, I'll make a motion that the Common School Municipal Planning Grant be approved for a budget of 13.5 for the architectural planning services understanding that the 10% match for the town.
That goes back to the grant that we've already approved and signed. I don't have it in front of me, but as part of the grant.
So all we need to do is approve
The selection of
the
the,
selection of the architect for the common school planning
Okay.
grant.
so the motion is to approve the selection of the Gila Vivian. Is that the pronunciation?
Yes,
Yeah.
GVB.
Okay, GVV. That's the motion.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I just wanted to mention that Greta, as part of the planning grant, has been the facilitator of the meetings, and she's been putting them up. She regrets that she wasn't able to come to this meeting. There's another item for Northwest Regional Planning that they have interest in talking about, and she will be coming to an upcoming meeting to be determined. So if you have questions for her at that point, she probably would be able to answer them too.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Julie. I hate to pick on you.
It's okay. I understand. You have good points. Yeah, it's important to bring.
I know, that's a reasonable concern. I think we all,
Yeah.
the whole board, I mean, everyone shares it. You too, you're a very practical
Yeah.
person, you know, we,
Right.
so.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, we've been discussing it, and we sort of have an idea of what we want to do, but.
Sure.
But I think it has to be shared more broadly, and I think through this process. It will be.
And I think, just to underscore what we've already said, the objective should be tee this thing up for the town, and use those meetings to say, hey, we're gonna expect a motion or some kind of
Yeah,
opportunity for the voters to say,
right.
The Historical Society also had a consensus to provide money to put out a postcard, is that correct? To invite people into the discussion as well. So that will be something that might be coming in the next month or so.
Yeah, or sooner.
I think the big thing, at the end of the day, it comes down to how much is it gonna cost the town?
Right.
Yeah. If it's $1 million, it's probably not gonna happen, so.
No,
Yeah.
no. But it is.
And not just the dollar, but the usage, right? We don't want to see another
Yeah.
building sit unkept and
Right.
And the third point that we haven't talked about is that the community trust fund grant that
Village
the
Trust Initiative.
Village Trust Initiative went in, and that would, the biggest goal of that is to put together a format for fundraising and making sure that if there's a central supported building in a town, that the town and the partners have the support that they need to create a capital campaign that works, and that the money wouldn't be only part of town expenses. So that's what that trust is.
Sounds good.
And if it's going to come up at town meeting, we probably need to have some decisions made by the end of January so it can get in the town report and be warned. So we should keep that in.
keep that.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Yeah.
Next.
Next.
That's Andrew's here. I'll do the interim piece first.
Kelly opposed you to the big mistake. Thank you.
So, yes, it has been just a little over a year since you joined Passive. We're just about wrapping up the worker comp audits. Those will be bound any day now. All in our new system, so it's taken us a little longer this year. So Kathy, you should be receiving something very shortly. I think Denise already sent you some information on when she completed it. Did she reach out to you with that? Yeah. Yep, so you guys will get a copy of that. We put it in PDF form, and that goes out, plus the endorsement when that gets bound. So we're looking at about $1,000 extra audited versus estimated payroll. So yeah, just wanted to give you a heads up, that'll be coming through very shortly. And then if you have any questions, anything comes up, just please let us know. We're always happy to review those, review all the results. Yeah, we, in the 1099s are the biggest piece. We always try and talk about those as much as possible with members because we try to exclude as many of those as we can that don't make sense. We're not trying to charge you for anything that we really shouldn't. So those generate the vast majority of questions by far. Right on the heels of that, the renewal process will start. So there'll be more going out for that. We've got the inflation factors figured out. We don't have our rates yet for 2026, which is standard. We'll have those developed very soon with our actuary. But in the meantime, we send out the renewal questionnaire. That'll come much like the workers' comp did, and the values collection process. There'll be a link, all the questions plus all the schedules to review. I do have the schedules here if there was any questions on them, but certainly renewal time is great. Just review as much of that as possible. The payrolls are by far our biggest that people tend to edit because we're just going to go off of an inflation off of the estimated, but your payrolls may change vastly depending on what's going on. So for the payrolls for the workers' comp, we're doing a 2.5% increase. And again, totally adjustable when you get that. The buildings, a 3.5%, and the contents, a 4%. Again, all up for review. So I will say for the property, good or bad timing, our appraisal process, we do a full 5-year, do all members. You guys actually came up this year. We added you in. They sent us a couple updates. I reached out again today, and they said, I think they have a site visit today. So the downside was I don't have the results yet, so I can't tell you what they came up with, but we'll be getting that very soon. And that doesn't happen midterm. That all goes into the 2026 renewal. So again, that'll all be dumped in.
Was that done at our initial enrollment? So will this be like a revised? Or
No,
is that
this
the first?
is the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, we just do it in big lumps. So we kind of go by counties. We work with Visbit. I should say HCA works with Visbit and with us kind of in conjunction. They do about a 4-year plan, do a bulk of counties all together each year. So, I mean, we can revise things if something comes up. If you're really sure something's undervalued, overvalued, we can talk about it. But this has been pretty good. HCA's been a really good company to work with, very detailed. So yeah, those will be coming in shortly. And then, yeah, anything that needs to be increased will just show up in the 2026 renewal questionnaire. There are the schedules as those come out. Yeah, I was really hoping that would have been done, so at least I'd have a little heads up on that, but...
We had an appointment and it didn't come through. The person wasn't able to come.
Today?
And then, no, nobody came today either.
Oh.
So there's been, I'll follow up on that. I actually believe that he was supposed to come Friday.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
it hasn't happened.
All right. Yeah, if you don't...
There was one person who was part of Passive who had a plan to be here, and then there was a travel delay. And then you went into an arrangement with a second party or something, and he was going to reschedule, but we got assigned to somebody else, so...
It might have just been within HCA, maybe just a different contact. They have a few folks that go out in the field there.
So,
we've been using HCA for a few years now, so that's the only one we contract with at the moment. So other than that, it would just be cost control.
Right, which is a common point of confusion.
Yes.
A lot of our members will say, well, wait a second, didn't you just want to schedule a visit, next week? Oh no, that's the other guy, right? And so we've just sort of had to explain that.
Yeah.
It's similar but different.
It is, yeah. But loss control doesn't do any appraisals. That's the big difference.
Okay. So one guy was going to do it. He had travel delays, and now somebody else is supposed to do it, and we haven't had him yet.
Well, I just asked them today, so I'm sure that.
It's all right. It's all right. You just go on. Go ahead. It's all right.
It'll happen. So yeah, like I said, just be prepared for the renewal process. The other big thing we are working really hard to get out there is the new member portal. It's not up yet, but we've got a couple things just technology-wise, just trying to get that all together so it links up to the member access portal that we already have up, that the VLCT has. So that will be fantastic when we get that rolling. It'll go out initially just to the passive primary contacts to register. Hopefully we can open it up to a couple more if people need additional contacts. And that will give you access to your policy, your schedules. You can review all of that. Eventually, it will also incorporate claims because they're in the middle of the implementation process of claims now for the same program. So probably next year, that will be available on the portal as well. So yeah, that should be coming up in the next few weeks. That something should be going out for access for that. In addition, I'm not sure if you guys have had much time to think about the additional services. Obviously, I know Xander has been out, so loss control is one that certainly has been active, but they also handle the passive grant program, the scholarship program, so that's all part of loss control. Yeah, that's the underwriting in a nutshell. Like I said, a lot of things coming right now with between the audits and the renewals. So we always expect a lot of questions around that time. Just getting those things pushing through.
Well, we haven't got the audit, so we can't ask a question on that.
Not yet.
And
Should
the
have been out
renewal,
last week, but
we're kind of ahead of that, right? So, but we probably will have questions, like when we look at, rates and stuff like that. What's a 1089?
1099?
1099.
Yeah.
Oh, so
sometimes-
1099, like the real 1099.
Correct. Yeah, we
Okay.
collect those through the audit process, and we look at who.
And so our 1099 as we discussed, there was a couple more that weren't part of the baseline. Is that what?
Yeah, there were 3, 2 at the library and 1
Okay,
here.
that's the issue that we're talking
Yeah,
about.
and one of them, the one here had the most hours for cleaning, and the ones at the library were very minimal, so most of that increase would be, I believe, for the cleaning services at the town clerk's office.
Okay.
Yes, that was the bulk. All in all, it was only just under 3,000 incorporated into payroll, not dollars. So it was only about $1,000 extra in cost and in contribution. So yeah, we were able to exempt all the rest out. Either they're easily exempted based on if they're truly non-municipal function, like
Good.
we don't include attorneys or architects or engineers or plumbers or electricians anymore. Those are all immediately nixed out. So it's really folks who are doing something that could be construed as a municipal function.
Okay.
And then we decide, can they be determined to be an independent contractor based on how statute and Department of Labor looks at that. So we go through all those documents for that purpose, so that we're trying not to charge you for anybody who really, you don't have the exposure, realistically. So yeah, there was only three of those 1099 contractors.
Good, okay.
So,
Cool.
so like I said, that, you guys will end up with a copy of that, so you can look at it in more detail. We do that each year.
And that, we had a question on that, because that's where Quilter lady fell in.
The library?
Yeah. I
Right.
don't know, that just kind of struck me. We have basically a volunteer who gets $1,500, whatever it is, stipend. And I don't know, we had talked about that one meeting. And
And what is she doing?
Yeah, I think one of the 3 is a semi.
Handcrafters.
Yeah.
So there's like 2 people who do projects at the town, at the library. They made very little money, but they received 1099s. And when I called you about it, you had said that the calculation considers how many hours they've done and what the potential risk is at that, based on what they do to calculate the amount that you're gonna, and the amount of hours.
Yeah, we take
So-
the dollar amount that they were paid.
Right.
And we just put that right into, along with your payroll for 8810 or library, admin or library. Those are very low rates, so it's very, very minimal for those, the charge. The cleaning, it's a higher rate, so that one is immensely more.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many, I think you said like $25 or $30 for the library or something?
Yeah, they were
More.
I don't remember offhand exactly what it was. I could probably find it in here, but it's pretty minimal for those.
Yeah,
Anything
it's
that's
less than
admin type or
$90.
library, it's like a 72-cent rate, per 100 of payroll. So it's very minimal. the other higher exposure classes, of course, charge more. So those two didn't certainly add anything. We get a lot of library. It's, if they're doing programs with the library, it's low exposure, but they've got folks in their class, it's low, but it's, liability and perhaps a workers' comp exposure. So, yeah, those aren't a big hit. It's more the highway rec stuff. Those are the big ones that we get a lot of. Those add up pretty fast, but they're higher exposure, so it's pretty common.
And those staircases in the library, though, still as steep as any other,
It's
right?
there.
So that isn't to say that there isn't risk.
There is an exposure, just lower than the
Yeah.
average. But we're always open for discussion. If you have some that you have questions on and you're really not sure, we're just looking at the reality of it. You pay your librarians, they're in a municipal exposure, so anybody who's doing programs in the library, they have a similar exposure.
Okay.
Any other questions? I know, like I said, you'll get this, so you have more to review as that comes through, but it's right around the corner.
So this was our first year of doing the forms that that VLCT requires for this audit, and I was proud of us. We got it done.
Excellent.
There was a lot more paperwork, so just as a side note, this has been a lot more than previous years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new insurance company, but in terms of time and implementation of strategies and poor Mo going out with his piece of paper, getting people don't like pieces of paper, so it's hard to be the deliverer of new pieces of paper forms, but I think we did it.
Yeah, we know it's an effort. We appreciate it, but we do follow the statutes. There's very particular pieces that have to be in place to truly establish someone as an independent contractor, and that's what we're following. So it's tough. We've revisited it numerous times, trying to figure out, is there any way to simplify it, bring it down? Sometimes some folks will take a contract and make it a 3-year contract, so they don't sign it every year. We're okay with that. The non-employee work agreement, that probably should be filled out every year. It's a simple 1-page now. We've narrowed it down. And then, we try and do some of our own homework too as we go through. If we can establish some pieces, like they're on the Secretary of State website, they have their own website or something where it shows that they're in business, things like that. We try to see if we can get some of those pieces for you when we're going through it. But it is a process, and it's a lot for our team as well. They have a lot to go through also. 320 members that have workers' comp, so they go through the 1099 documents for every single one of them, and it's a bear, that's for sure. But it's all, like I said, in essence of how do we keep the costs down for you, not just charge you for all the 1099s. We don't want to do that because it just doesn't make sense. So, and then if you've got the documentation there, if there's somebody tries to submit a claim, tries to claim that they should be covered under your workers' comp, that's what that's also there for, is to try and prove that case that no, they're truly not an employee of the municipality. They've signed documentation saying that they're not. They've got everything there that the Department of Labor says they're not. So it's also meant to help you in case of a claim that might blow up.
Okay.
I'll let Xander jump in. He had some bit to
Xander.
chat about.
Well, for the record, I'm just as new to VLCT passive as Fairfield is, in a way. So this is kind of neat that we're running parallel, right? And these experiences, of course, as I shared last time, I'm coming from the world of industry, so it's been really fascinating in the last year and a half to kind of retool those skills and plug them into the municipal realm. A lot of echoes. And so thanks. I think the big sort of celebration point is that half of the recommended corrective actions after the wall-to-wall safety survey last fall, which happened in sort of 2 parts, have been completed. So that means that you're fully entitled to the passive grant, which is great. So, take advantage of it and continue to take advantage of it for eligible safety equipment. Things like new cones, sign packages, all grant eligible. This year, as a reminder, we're covering 50% up to the municipal limit based on your contribution for safety equipment. So can't stress it enough. The other is the John Law Scholarship, which is fantastic. I believe it's $2,500. Sorry, Lee, if I forgot the exact number. For task-specific training that are in the furtherance of safety. Things like attending various long technical trainings like game of logging is a really good example. We're seeing a massive uptick across northern Vermont in logging-related injuries. Things as simple as, how do you safely put debris, sticks, and twigs into a wood chipper without it swinging around like 1,000,000 miles per hour like a flail, right? Stuff like that. A lot of these trainings yield really powerful results, and so that's something that naturally we're more than happy to support in offering that scholarship. You need only apply. Our website has some great resources on how to do that and all the materials you need. Many, I should say, of the corrective actions from the last cycle are grant eligible items. So that's neat. It's kind of two birds with one stone, right? Few aren't, but for the most part, I think it's just something that, I just really want to kind of stress as something that you can connect with me or Leah Garish on at any time. I think, again, it's no small feat in your first year with passive to say, I was there, right? When that big list hit the table, it's like, how many pages were it? Like 6 or 7 pages. It was a long list, to be honest. But it was sort of your first time, right? The town's first experience with that kind of true wall-to-wall safety assessment. It can be daunting, but to tackle half of it, right, to meet the threshold for the grant is really impressive. So I just kind of want to celebrate that first and foremost. The other thing too, I think that's important.
Excuse me. Mo, would you communicate that to your team?
Yep.
That's like a foot stomper, because I saw that list, and we all read that list, and so that's a cool perspective that you have.
Absolutely.
And it's a valuable perspective.
100%. The other thing too is that by chipping away at that list, we've also worked to insulate the municipality, right, from a compliance-based lens. Needless to say, I think there are areas that still need a little work, but we've got the resources for you, especially with the documentation piece. This here, nice folder, 3-ring binder, I should say, that I put together for y'all, includes 3 very key documents which I had shared, that I had recommended in the report from last fall, had shared over the summer and then sent another email out. So I know that it's like you got like 1 million copies of the digital thing floating around, but at the very least I wanted to have something that we could physically pass around and look at as sort of like a template prop, right? You can keep the binder. I'm just gonna, my bad, it's not a problem. But basically what this binder has is what every organization, note I say organization, not municipality, anyone who's subject to OSHA or a state OSHA program should have this sort of trifecta of safety policy documents ready to go, where there's no mistake as to where it is, who's in charge of it, who's doing what, etc. Those 3 things are a lockout tagout program, a hazard communication, aka HAZCOM program, and the personal protective equipment assessment, also known as PPE, right? Things like dust masks or eye protection, so on and so forth, right? Things that we put on our bodies like clothing or otherwise that protect us from harm when we can't engineer out the problem. So those 3 documents live here in this binder. The first is a lockout tagout program. I even put Town of Fairfield on the top of it for you, right? Ready to go. I, again, strongly encourage you to really review this, especially from a public works perspective, right? Because there's some technical things in here that might be applicable to one municipality, a bigger one or a smaller one, so on and so forth, right? It's just, you can add your own flavor to this, but the bones are here, the base is here, right? For those who don't know, lockout tagout is the isolation of hazardous energy, right? So it doesn't interact with us in a way that's hazardous while we're conducting maintenance on a piece of machinery, right? Things like if I was to lock out this binder, if I was to work under it, right? I probably want to put something here solid to prop it so it doesn't go like this. Needless to say, that in a nutshell is what lockout tagout is. This codifies it, and it develops accountability, right, which is really important. So at the very end of this, right, an annual certification of that. The next piece is the hazard communication. It's a fancy way of saying chemicals in the workplace. Okay, what do you got? Highway is sort of, for this municipality, probably going to be the nexus of that. Large municipalities, they've got all kinds of exotic chemicals going on. Wastewater facilities, water plants, etc. It can be really complicated. This is a pretty thick one. Everybody know these? Sure, at some point in your life you've seen them, right? Pictograms is big. This is part of the program, right? Things like, hey, this is a flammability hazard or a corrosion hazard, right? This is all part of the education that's required by VOSHA. And then doing your hazardous chemical inventory and your training log is also baked into this for you. Last but not least is the PPE assessment. Basically, it's a matrix that shows you, all right, what kinds of PPE do I need to use for different job tasks? These are all kind of pre-made for you. Look at this one. Speak of the devil, chainsaw, limbing, and tree cutting. You need eye protection, face protection, right? Your hand protection, hearing protection. This one, a lot of stuff going on, right? You even need leg protection, right? Chaps. By the way, chaps and other chainsaw-related PPE grant eligible under the passive grant. We'll take 50% off the top for you. So with that said, these things together is not just an essential part of what you need to have as a matter of regulation, but it's also sort of the beginnings of the development of a holistic safety program and safety culture in your municipality, and just run with it. It's been really neat working with municipalities in the last year and a half who have just gone nuts. Redeveloping the current Swan Village is a fantastic, look no further than just down the road from a municipality that said, we're just going to start from scratch and really reevaluate everything. It's been great working with them on it, and I'm looking forward to working with you on this too. So this is the starting point. This is the base, right? Think of VOSHA compliance as the foundation upon which to build a safety house. So hopefully soon we'll get to the trusses and then we'll put the finish on it. But it starts right here. I even have a green piece of paper so you can put, town of Fairfield, safety green, or whatever you want to put on it, safety documentation. Any question on this essential piece of compliance?
Pretty self-explanatory, I would say.
Well, thank you. That means it wasn't a bunch of nonsense coming in. So that's good.
Yeah, so that's like the base, the foundation. In addition to, we still have 50% of the, your, what, I don't know, call it audit or your safety survey from a year ago. So those are correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And the-
foundation and continue to work the list, right?
Well, I would say that's certainly a piece of it, although the continuing education piece, right, the training, those offerings still remain available. I'm sorry we weren't able to connect ultimately in the spring. I know that something was kind of in the works and we had a cancellation, but I would just reoffer that as whether it be hazard communication training relating to this, lockout, tagout, walk around, and sort of a hands-on lab. And then, of course, the flagger certification training.
Yeah, didn't you say you also do some training, like, in other municipalities that we could attend for?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Right.
In fact, coincidentally, the next one for flagger certification is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in Swanton Village.
Okay.
So, don't know. If there's got nothing else going on, you're bored, you want to come down, get your card with my signature on it, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock at the municipal auditorium in Swanton Village. Fairfield's more than happy to attend. But again, I'd like to reiterate that part of the passive difference is that I bring the training to you. So you ask me to come out at a time, date, right here or right in this room, we could have it, on the screen. Do the training right here, I live just down the road. Let me know. I'm more than happy to come out and do that for you.
So part of this is also about avoiding VOSHA findings and fines and penalties related to that. So the binder that you have in front of you is something that if we got alive, we're mandated. Some of that is mandated by we have to do at this point, just in general. But it's to abide by the legal findings around VOSHA.
Is it kosher if I speak to that directly also?
I don't know.
Sure.
Okay. I would say it never hurts to get stuff done ahead of time. In fact, I'm not going to pull out the email, but it's always going to work in your favor. The faster you do it and say, hey, we fixed it, that's always a good thing. If you impress those who need to be impressed, it's going to yield results ultimately.
I was also just going to mention that we did have a motion inspection, and they toured this facility, the library, and the garage, and asked the questions and commented on the fact that we were compliant in areas that we've just approved. So the things that we've had on that list have already benefited us in our most recent inspection. And it would behoove us to continue for that reason.
Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, right? It's part of being part of the pool, We've got your back.
Yeah, well, cool.
Is there things that you know that need to be done right off for the town or through the town? This whole book?
Yeah,
This whole book.
The green binder.
And I'm here to help you out every step of the way.
Yeah, and the goal isn't to have checklists and procedures and all that. The goal is keep people safe. That's the bottom line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that comes, but the discipline, the organization, the methodology, being proactive, that's where you get to that goal. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
No, I'm not naive. It's in municipalities here in Vermont, you got one person doing the job of like 4 people, This isn't big industry where you've got half a dozen assistant plant managers sitting around half a day twiddling their thumbs with nothing better to do than to do an entire SDS audit of every chemical they have in the workplace. Well, who's got time for that, right? At the very least, let us help you get this stuff tight, and we'll work together to see what resources we need to bring to the table as far as time, training, so on and so forth, and we'll get there.
Cool.
And that all comes into play in the renewals too. We take input from loss control. If they say things are going well and you guys are making strides, we take that into consideration in pricing as well.
That's cool.
Yeah. We like people who are proactive. It's great, members who really care. Everybody's going to have stuff that happens that's out of your control, but the more proactive you are, the better all around, and we want to know that stuff.
Cool.
It's excellent. And Kathy was very proactive.
Is there
I know it's
a lot of
hard.
chemicals that
It's a
you
big
think
job.
that we have on hand at the garage or stuff?
Nothing out of the ordinary. I wouldn't say it's an arsenal of chemicals that's any different than most municipal garages here in Vermont. So most of these things are not going to be unusual, you know, aren't going to require a lot of unique hazmat training, for example. But at the very least, just being cognizant of, you know, where your corrosives, where your oxidizers, you know, where your flammables, where does everything have to live relative to other things? Because sometimes oxidizers and flammable gases don't play nice, right? All these things together live in the same ecosystem in HAZCOM.
And it's all listed, so what I've learned is that the whole list also requires a file that has information about each of those chemicals. So there's a little system that has to be in place in order to abide by that policy or process.
And the best thing about safety data sheets, SDSs these days, is that the internet, you know, I blame for a lot of pain in this world. One of them, not SDSs, right? It is so easy to get the PDFs of safety data sheets now. It's incredible. Major companies like Dow Chemical have whole websites. You can look up anything that they manufacture and it will have the entire SDS. Whereas back in the day, this is not new. This has been around since the 70s. You had to pick up the phone and call these guys, and they had to mail it to you. You know, or it would come in the package, right, with the shipment. Not always the case if it's just over the counter at your local hardware store. So it is so much easier today than it's ever been to get this documentation. It just takes a little time.
Works for me.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I
More to
really,
come.
yeah, I think we're grateful for your visit and
And I do have a printout of the audit that will go out. This is the PDF that will exactly go out, so if anybody wants it, I'm happy to leave it here. I just printed that out straight from the system. So. There's that, it's okay.
We'll take it. Somebody will look at it. Might not be tonight, not gonna lie.
So it'll come in color formats.
Oh, beautiful.
you're gonna hand that to Kathy, you're gonna hand that to Mo, you're gonna hand that to Kathy. Where's the book, where's the green book going? We don't want
I
to
think he
fancy.
handed it to all of you.
Yeah, most municipalities, select board, the preferences that it be reviewed, because it's essentially a policy. Yes, it's something that's like the baseline requirement from VOSHA, but there are a couple things in here, right, that it's worth the read, and from what I understand, this is gonna fix your problem.
And the policies that are in there, we would need to adopt as a policy. So that's how they're written, right, with signature lines and things.
Right, yeah, and baked into this template at the moment are also the annual verification documents, just something that says, you know, so-and-so, the foreman or whoever is in charge of XYZ tasks, yep, everything looked good, you signed off on it for the year, boom, done, right? Or a new person comes on to the organization, have they been trained in the chemicals they're gonna be using in the workplace? Yep, boom, done. So it's all here, but more than happy to answer any questions you have and kind of help draft up any specific points that you need a hand with.
Cool.
We're here, so
Yeah.
certainly don't figure it out in a day by any means.
Yeah. Cool.
Ongoing process for sure for many members, but yeah, it sounds like you guys have done a great job in a very short time. It's excellent.
What's the timeline in that green book? Yesterday?
2 weeks ago.
So I'm just going to say, there was another municipality in the Northwest, won't say which, that was recently inspected by VOSHA, and they called me up, went out, sat, we sort of triaged what needed to be done. They turned it around in 2 days. From what I understand, a bigger list than I think maybe what some other folks have. So, like I said, haste preferred. It's only going to help you the faster and more attention you put into it up front, rather than be reactive, right?
We'll keep working on it. We'll plug away at it.
Nope.
None of it's,
So this is, I emailed these guys this is an email about the functional visit. But you and I talked a little bit about it.
no, I think we're good. I mean, we're looking for a check-in and a touch base, so this is helpful.
We're always here. More questions, email, call, whatever.
He's close by. He's happy to show
Yes.
up. How far away are you?
A little over an hour. Not next to
We
us.
won't call every week,
Yeah. I'm happy to talk on the phone. We can't pop in all the time.
but, oh, perfect. We appreciate you making the trip up. Go from there.
Definitely.
Alrighty. Like I said, let us know. This comes out, and certainly, like I said, with the renewal coming up, any questions? We'll chat. We've narrowed down the questions a little bit. I think there's, I don't know, 25 or 30 questions this year, and then just the schedules. So, trying to keep them simple.
Is that 1 January?
No, those will be going out in the next couple of weeks.
But the renewal date is 1 January?
Yes, January 1st, yep. Some of ours are 1-1s.
I think we have one change, one truck going out and one truck going in, and the rest of it is pretty much the same, so.
That's it.
Done.
Because the payrolls are usually the big thing, just remember their calendar year. You know, some people have fiscal year, it messes them up, but yeah, so keep in mind calendar year for those. So it'll come through with the 2.5%, but if any of those seem off, you have the opportunity to change them. You can change them in mid-year if something drastic changes too, but most folks don't do that unless they're like losing a bunch of people or gaining a whole department or something, because it'll come out at odd time, but it's always an option. These are annual, and the estimates are annual numbers. There's that. Alrighty. I won't take up too much more of your time. Sounds like we
Thanks again.
hit
Thank
all
you.
the big
Yeah,
topics.
really appreciate it, yeah.
You're welcome.
Great opening chapter. So,
And yeah, so if you don't hear from HCA, something doesn't happen this week, let me know, because they're just about done.
Yeah, he said that they only have 2 weeks to fit us in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they're like 80 or 85% done at least, if not more.
yeah.
They're just wrapping up, so, okay, yeah. That's unfortunate. I thought they had hit that today, but should be on the list. Alrighty.
We're not going anywhere, we'll be here.
Okay. I thought they would have
Maybe
been
he
here.
came and he didn't come in. Maybe he went around without me. That's, I mean, I don't,
It's
that's
possible.
not what
Usually
they
they-
did last time.
No, they usually check in. They're usually
Yeah.
pretty good about that. They
Yeah.
usually want someone to they want to see inside and outside. They mark contents even and such like that. Just
Okay.
and now you all know ahead of time it's not me. So
Yeah.
no confusion, right? It was like, I seriously, my phone was ringing off the hook. It was like, who's it? Are you coming? No, it's the other guy.
yeah, it's the appraisal.
Yeah. Yep.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Have
drive
a
safe.
great evening.
Yeah, drive safe.
Yeah. Back to the interstate.
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants for here and there.
I'll second that.
You can have it if you want.
And then read the back page of it.
Got a line of the
Great
agenda.
to put a face to your.
I think you meant the minutes. 25 August minutes.
Safe travels.
Catch soon.
Okay.
Is that all right, Dave?
Sure, yeah, let's
The
make a
minutes,
motion to
the
approve the
minute-
minutes.
And Ron seconded it.
Yeah, I'll second. Any errors, omissions, or comments on it?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can we do the warrants next, because we're here? It's not on the agenda, so approval of the warrants.
I'll second that.
It's at the bottom. If you care.
My eyes are getting old. Joining the club, eventually I'll have glasses.
Or mine.
What's that?
All those in favor of the warrants?
All right.
Mo, you weren't on the couch back there.
Good dinner right here, too. Tastes much for me.
So what kind of chemicals are over there that
Just the hydraulic oil and
they call out of chemicals?
they
Yeah.
did their day.
The shelf, there's a shelf of paint and chemicals
Yeah.
and all the things.
Just paint and antifreeze,
Chloride.
which wash through, yeah, chloride on the outside there. Yeah. There must be a MSG book or something that's supposed to be in there.
Yeah, there should be some MSDS sheets, anything that's a liquid that's not water, basically. So it's not a big deal. It's throw them in a binder.
That's what you're talking about, the data sheets or something,
Yeah.
the safety sheets or
It
something.
should help us, and that's to tell you how to take care of a spill or something.
Yeah, spill.
Or a splash.
Splash. It's not a big deal. I'm sure you got
Hydraulic
one at
oil,
one
you just put
point.
that on, just good lubricant.
What other excitement you got? Any trucks yet?
Truck's here, got the name on the door today. Took a while for the letter to come in. They took it down today, got it put on. 2,000, we had to get 6 new tires for that. 21, I mean, international. So I picked them up today, get them on, get it to, oh, Christ, boy, get bad.
Belcourt?
Yeah, well, quite. Get inspected, inspection time for all our trucks. So that's what we've been trying to get done and get some more ditching done and get a little rain down, get a little grading done.
Would you say 6 tires on the international?
Yeah.
So all the way around all the zones?
The backs, there were 2 already put on just a while ago, so it's that are sets, you know, it's 8 on the back of it.
Just the back of the
Yeah.
front and through.
Yeah.
And what year is that international? 21?
21.
You got enough chloride to get the roads, hit the roads, or?
And we've been diligent with it. I mean, yeah, actually that truck got the tank is on, get inspected. We'll get it tomorrow and we'll have to
Yeah.
calm it down some again. You can see which way they're going.
Taking more chloride this year?
Yep.
Dry.
It's been so dry and
Yeah.
you get washboardy and you have to get out there and cut them off when you get a little rain.
Yeah.
They get, everybody wants us out there, but we're out there, gonna be a lot of dust, so. Been out today, what you see, Reynolds Road.
Yeah.
Look across tonight, like I said, it needs a little bit to go through there. You get pounded a lot with traffic. You heard nothing from the grader guy yet, or a grader in or not? He was talking October anyways, so.
Yeah.
Sounds like Authentic Diagnostics went down there recently to look at the garage.
Who?
The person who was gonna do the in and out study for the garage installation project. He finally,
They came?
yeah, and he called me
Okay,
and let me know. That project, so I actually have we need a little direction at this point. I need a little direction. So I just need to know if the select board wants Bugby to give us another quote so you can compare the two. But let's see. The cost for the setups for, so energy efficiency installation, the installation program will reimburse $5,000. The requirement is that we meet energy efficiency standards, which first starts with an in and out test. the cost for the in and out test would be either $1,250 or $1,500, depending on if he has to do 2 or 3 setups. That would mean that $3,500 would be left from the energy efficiency reimbursement to cover Bugby's work. But Bugby's estimate may increase because he called and said that it's going to require air sealing at the top of the walls. That's what Authenticated Diagnostics told him. And in order for that to happen, he needs to come back out and measure how many places that needs to take place, how many walls, like how many tops of walls are we talking? And then he would adjust his estimate accordingly. So the original cost that Bugby had given Mo was $16,600. And this would increase that. So the first question is, do you want me to call Bugby to do that?
Let me just understand,
Yeah.
Ro, help me out. Does it, when you say the top of the walls, when they do an air test, will that be just the top portion of the building, or will that be the
No,
entire
the air
building?
test is separate. The air test with authenticated diagnostics shows all of where the air is going in and out. So
The entire building?
the entire building. But what he's already done just proactively is that he's contacted Bugby, and he's saying that this will require nonetheless that sealing, the sealant at the top of the walls.
Yeah, I guess,
Yeah,
so what's
so-
the option? I think.
Yeah,
I
so
think-
there's really 3 directions. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, here's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna say. I think we got a legacy building
Yeah,
that, I think this is getting more complicated to get $5,000 from them.
right,
So I
absolutely.
think we should just go forward with the Bugby quote. It's a garage
Yeah,
where it's not gonna be totally sealed, but it's gonna be a lot better than it was.
Yeah.
Has
And
the in-out test been done?
What was that?
Has the in-out test been done?
No, he had to do it, he had to go to the garage, and he told me he needed to meet with Mo, and I just barely heard back from him this week, last week, and he told me that that's when he gave me the estimate for what the in and out test would entail in terms of price. He wasn't gonna do that unless you gave him the okay. So I just got the
Yeah,
bid,
well,
or the
I
estimate.
don't know, what,
Yeah, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Put
Nope,
some
number
insulation
3 is
in.
right there, so I just wanted to find out.
yeah, no, I appreciate
Yeah,
that. No,
no,
this
no.
is all,
Just
this
doesn't
is a reasonable question to ask
Yeah.
about the grant, but it's,
Yeah, I don't want to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
my preference would not to be, that's why I'm bringing it to you.
yeah, sure.
I don't want to call Bugby and have him do anything. I don't want to have diagnostics do anything. If that's not what you want, because
Yeah,
it
no,
doesn't
I-
have to be a mole. I want
Yeah,
to.
I think we should go forward with the Bugby quote, and I think that's, with legacy building and a garage.
Well, you gotta have a little bit of air movement anyways for,
Right.
I know, when you're talking about confined space and chemicals and,
Yeah.
like the previous discussion, I mean, what do you think, Mo?
I think you guys gonna put the hat on the roof to keep the heat down, and where they're talking around there, and for what you're gonna get for money, they ain't.
Yeah. All we're doing is employing.
So that's a reasonable way to go forward, right?
My personal, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So option 3 makes sense. I'll
Okay.
just call Bugby and tell him to go ahead and.
So no action required, thank you for
Yeah.
bringing it to our attention. Anything else, Mo?
No.
I know those are little things, but how's the best way to help you? Like he implied, there's some communication going on with VOSHA.
Yeah, so
To-
we're waiting for certified mail at this point as well, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, no, I just meant, Tom asked how soon should that be done? And he implied that that's, a good thing to get done.
Yeah, it's
So-
going to, the things that are in there have, according to VOSHA, have to happen.
Yeah.
So whenever you want to, and then there, once we
I
hear
think
back
there, I
from
think
them.
there's more in there than has to happen though.
There were two things that includes a whole bunch, but there are two things that have to happen that are included in there.
Right.
Policies,
Okay, so subset. You're saying-
processes, and all that
I
stuff.
was just read the first 2, 3
Yeah, it's a
pages
lot.
and there's,
Right.
it's
a
way
lot.
more detailed, it's way
I
over.
totally agree. I
And we're-
emailed you
We're
specifically.
not gonna do 7,000 policies for how to use spray
Totally
paint.
agree.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
start small. Make a list of
It's the
paints and
two-
BS stuff that's in
Yeah,
there.
I'm a OSHA guy, he asked me where your MS,
Right.
I ain't good with these.
Right,
OSHA guy,
right.
MSGs and GGs.
But that's
And
where the
that's
two
what
of you
he
need to
kinda
work
pressed
together
on.
and just.
And I went to the barrel oil, and it says on the barrel oil, you got, I'll get splashed in the eyes. It's an eye wash, And he
Right.
said, no, it gotta be like
Yeah.
documented, safety sheet, whatever they call it.
It sounded to me like
That's,
Xander could work with Mo to just get that set, all of that piece, just getting the forms, getting all the information.
But
If you
that's
want
what I'm
me to
saying,
spend
break it
time-
down. It's simple.
No, I mean those two documents, the original things that VOSHA sent to me, and I forwarded to you, was the two spreadsheets and all of those pieces of paper that go along with it.
Right, but even that stuff, the injury reporting and whatnot,
That's
you're,
just-
you're gonna have to work with them to do that. That's more of
I guess
a
that's-
administrative, like, this is where we have to come together as a team and work at it. They're not gonna keep that stuff over there and do that. That's where you've gotta step in and help with that, is my take on that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I was thinking,
Well, you could have,
I think
a copy
like,
of that, have one at each place.
Yeah, I agree.
Then they'd have it for reference, rather than come over
yeah,
here.
and designate a young tiger like Jake or something to be the,
Yeah, but this is stuff that is gonna be in a binder, readily accessible, done and kept up to date. It's gonna be part of a schedule somewheres, and our road crew needs to be working. We're down, we got 4 guys.
okay, wait a minute.
I know, I'm doing opinion.
No, I totally agree with you, but when they go in the garage and they start asking technical questions, there's gotta be a binder right there where you say, all right, let's go to the book.
Right,
And here's so you can't say, it has to, the knowledge has to exist where the action is being taken. So that's why I'm saying, if Mo doesn't feel like that's, say Jake, or somebody who's,
it's all, like they said, the chemicals. If you had that book that day, I could have handed it to him.
sure, that's what I
Right,
mean, that's what I'm saying. So then you get a binder right there where the rack is and say, oh, let's look what it is. Here's what's your question? And
Yeah.
And God forbid, there's a problem, and there's a spill or a splash, and then you say, I got a rash, you get the book out and say, hey. So, I don't wanna make it, I wanna make it easy, I don't wanna make it hard.
no, I
I
get
don't think
that.
it's that, I don't think it's gonna be that hard. You just have to.
I think
I
that
just
part,
need a
I don't
list
think
of-
that part's gonna be that hard to do.
Yeah,
Just a simple binder.
Once you make up
MSDA.
MSDS sheets, it's
Right.
done. You don't have to look at it again.
Right.
End of the year, you double check, but it's,
So you kind of, he said, once a year or something. You go through-
Can you help with that, Ron, to make, with,
Sure.
Because he said you can look on the internet or something.
but that's what I'm saying, there should be a,
yeah, no, I think it should be a team approach, but I also think that it's really cool that we have a person who could probably just get that information to me.
right, but he's not gonna come over and print them out. We need to just make a list of what you got.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I can make it that list, and I just have to go down and start looking at what they have and figure out.
Well, that's what I mean, that's, the town boys the road crew has the knowledge. Jake can go through and say, okay, in the left-hand side of the shop, Kathy, these are the supplies we have that need an MSDS sheet. You just print them out and throw them in a binder. That's kind of where
Exactly.
the office isn't set up over there for that type of
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I can absolutely do that.
But
That's good.
like I said,
Yeah.
I don't expect you to go over there and go, what's this, Mo?
Yeah. No.
That's not, the internet, Mo knows the
Yeah.
brake cleaner, so,
Yeah, I can do that.
And some of that stuff has to be separated too, right?
yeah. So like I said, small steps. Just get the MSDS book. It's not a big deal. Every audit is the same thing. This is what I do for a living. You set a binder up, you hand it to the guy, he puts it in a place where he knows his binders. When the auditor shows up, he says, oh yeah, you have paperwork. Great, good job, Mo. It's not a big
The
deal.
checklist that he showed me, he asked me for this information first. And then when he went down there, he asked Mo for the information. So I think it probably makes sense to have the information in both places just because that, you know, it comes up. And
That's what I said.
if there's
Make
an
the
emergency,
conflict.
I would want to know if there's an emergency, what was happening too,
You know,
so,
but they definitely should have one there, because they gotta have it for,
yeah.
That would be a question for Xander. You should have the MSDS where the product
A
is.
certain, yeah, a
Yeah, I
certain
don't know.
location.
Yeah.
Whatever, print out 2 copies and have 2 binders on the file, but it's simple. This shouldn't be a 10-hour discussion. It's
Yeah, no, it's,
start one step at a time, and when we get together next week, we'll say, how far did you make it on this, and what's the next step? It's not a big deal.
That's the easy one, actually.
Yeah.
So,
that's easy, and then the other thing is, the other thing that we need to do is just really have a piece of paper on a clipboard, so that if there's an injury or an illness related to anything that's happening, we have a document that shows the date and the person and the thing. It doesn't even have to have information on it, because I don't think we've had injuries over the last, since I've been here at least. So I know the best thing is that it's empty, but just having a chart that is located in the garage, that's easy. Just
you have all that chainsaw gear? Does everybody have that?
We took it one set,
He did ask about that.
the helmet and the straps, and the earmuffs.
We don't have a list that itemizes everything, but it was all there. And the fact that he said, where are the chaps? Like, he saw all of the equipment there. So, you know, he was aware of it. I'm really glad that, like, he did go to the mezzanine. He was wandering around. They had the sign up there. You know, there were things, he checked the ladder. So the things that he looked for the eye wash station, the things that you guys have already done down there, you know, it came through while I was walking around with him.
Well, he said it was half complete, which was great, or good work, you guys did well.
Yeah. He did, he said things look good all around, basically, except for the really 2 things. He did make a note that we should be, the propane tanks, we talked about that in the
They're out there.
inventory thing, and then,
What are they for?
Propane tank, the
Heater.
yeah, the heater, yeah, heat and cold patch, I call it flamethrower. You've got a propane tank on there and not supposed to be in the garage.
Is that for your grill too?
No, that's over to the firehouse.
Keep that door locked.
Firehouse got a door over there.
You guys gonna get inspected?
Why don't you do the clipboard with the injuries that you just
yeah,
described?
he did that.
And Ron will work with Mo on the other chemical stuff.
Inventory. I suspect that I could just, it wouldn't take any time at all to just get the forms into a file that need to be there.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds like a good plan, Dave.
Anything else, Mo?
No.
Not kicking you out, but we're moving
Before
along.
Mo leaves, I asked him this week if you have any money left in your paving budget, and he said you're already 40,000 over. But Swanton is paving Sweet Hollow, and they end right at the town line. And the next, I paced it out today, it's 400 steps with my little legs. So maybe 200 feet is the worst part of Sweet Hollow. Is it worth asking whoever's doing paving?
I thought you wanted to leave it rough, so slow people down.
I personally don't want it, I'd like it back to dirt, personally. But it's the worst part is
Ours is already blacktop, it just needs to be redone.
ours has been blacktop, Sheldon has redone theirs, Swanton is redoing parts that are
Right.
not as bad as ours. And it's only from the town line, not quite to the driveway of the house next to me, that it's crappy. I videotaped it today if you wanna look, or if, you know, if you wanna go drive by. But I thought,
If we're $40,000 under,
no, we're over.
Over. We're
I think
tapping
we
into
should,
the
well, I think we'd love to do it next year.
Yeah.
Well, but the whole road doesn't need it, it's just that 200 feet, so I don't know, like the rest of it, yeah, sure, there's a crack down the middle, it's not a big deal. But that first 200 feet is crappy. I don't know if it's worth finding
Oh,
out
talk
from
to your buddies in
Swan.
Swan, have them just go the extra 200 feet.
That's my
We
question.
did that on Psalms down to 2 years ago on Peon Road.
Yeah, maybe we
We
can.
had, you know, extra mix, so. They said, be all right, put it on your road. I said, yeah, put it around it. Well, we did it year after, but
Do you know who's doing Swans?
no, I don't.
No, because he said, when I asked him, he said they're already over budget, so I'm not gonna
Well,
want
I
to spend
said-
that money. But the equipment's gonna be there, it's all there, and it's literally 400 steps. It's less than, it's probably 200 feet, and I have no idea what that would cost.
So I can't remember exactly how much money we're taking out of the paving fund, but I'm pretty sure that we had estimated almost all of it. That's what I
Well,
remember.
we went over,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
we
we-
did more at Chester Yacht.
Right, the paving
Like
budget for this year.
Melissa
is
said while we
over.
were there, we did the whole thing, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt to call Swanton and see who's doing it and see what it costs.
No, I wouldn't, I don't have a problem with asking a question, but I think we gotta look at the budget before we,
I'm
No,
pretty
but I
sure the
just-
budget is gonna be exceeded. We had talked about, even though we were exceeding it, in order to finish Just Ray Arthur, we were gonna supplement it with the paving fund CD. I believe we went through the paving fund CD to finish that. So if we're thinking about, and I haven't gotten the invoice yet, but if we're thinking about doing more paving, we're gonna have to look at a totally different
yeah, I think the point is a phone call to say, hey, any chance we'll owe you one, or I don't know how those conversations go.
We also,
Is that, Mo, is there a precedent for that? You're saying?
No, I just know some town had that extra mix, and they put it there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a half load mix or a load of mix, no.
Load of mix.
Yeah.
No, but I just,
Give them a call. see
it's
what
gonna be
costs.
cheaper,
No
To do it.
equipment, we don't have to pay for any equipment to come, all like all that
right, all
stuff.
the trucking is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, it'd be cheaper to do it now than it would be next year. You almost say half the price of that.
Or less, yeah.
Yeah.
You got,
And
we
we
could
don't,
find
have the- like, the rest of
Probably
it
about
just
4 tenths
doesn't
of
need it.
Huh?
town got 4/10 of road down there. Fairfield is 4/10.
Of a
Oh,
mile
4/10?
Yep.
On Sweet Hollow. And there's, like, it's literally only 200 feet. I paced it. It's not bad.
Well,
And it's not that bad, so if you don't do it, who cares? Maybe people will slow down, it'd be nuts. They drive 60 miles an hour.
so they're paving it right now.
No, I don't know when they're paving it, but it's
They-
lined
yeah, they
in
got-
March, so I know they're
Okay.
gonna pave it.
What's that?
What'd you say when they were gonna do it, or you
I don't know. I just looked at the phone and said, we're gonna call the road foreman down there about 8:30 at night.
I'd call and just see who's doing it.
Call in the morning.
Maybe they could give us an estimate.
Yeah.
Unless they're doing it tomorrow or this week, but must be soon if they got it, getting it marked.
Yeah, it'll be soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, they marked it when I called you last week, right? They marked it last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, get a number, see what it'll cost, and go from there.
I-
Kind of with
Like,
Brian.
it just seemed to me like it's worth asking the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
doesn't hurt to ask.
no,
I'll give Kevin a call in the morning and see what's on, who's on it and when
You done, Mo?
yes.
Good man.
Kathy?
Just Joe Montang is gonna mark the center points this week on our Chester Ray Arthur. And the state is requesting again. Last year they requested this too. The state is requesting that take place before the striping happened. Because in the middle,
Yeah.
in our roads is not always the middle of the road. So he's gonna go out there this week or early next to market, and then the state will come and do the striping.
Who's gonna do it?
Joe
Company that
Montana
paved
is the group that, who was it?
Ireland.
Ireland, FD Ireland.
Joe
Oh,
Montana.
just a guy from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gonna put, I guess he gonna put where the center line's supposed to be.
Yeah, he's gonna measure the center line. Just put up, like, mark out 100 feet at a time.
He worked for Ireland.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
moved to
They're doing it
this year.
for, just part of the deal.
Yeah.
They ain't painted Pound Road yet either. Straight to Pound Road yet. He did the North Road and Swamp Road, but Pound Road ain't been done.
Huh. Sure.
With the stripe, with the yellow stripe.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Sweet Hollow Road.
Sweet Hollow's never been striped.
No,
Not since I lived there.
No.
not Sweet Hollow.
All right, what do you got, Kathy?
So the only other stuff was the
sorry.
OSHA thing that we talked about, and I was gonna go to a VLCT training, the town fair, if that's okay with the select board, in
Thanks,
October.
Morris.
It has some great, I think it has some good
Hey, take your
breakout
book with you.
sessions this year.
Come over, get on the computer, figure out where that. Thank you.
Thanks, Mo.
Thank you.
So, I'm sorry, what was that?
When's the town fair?
It's in October, I want to say the 8th maybe, I can't remember exactly. But they have, I looked it over, there's some tracks for treasurer actually, for capital and bonds and things like that, it's already, like, there are all kinds of things that happen in my world around some of the things that
Good.
I have the breakout sessions. And then I'm planning to take this Wednesday through Friday off. Those are the only dates.
Okay, hazardous mitigation planning. This is part of our 5-year update for the hazardous mitigation plan. And it's to be eligible for, God forbid, future FEMA disasters or mitigation grants that could be available for the town. I was encouraged to make a phone call to the North Hero Town Clerk and I had a long conversation with her. I was discouraged to hear that they've spent since 2022 updating their town plan and they hired a consultant. And it's, this is a consultant who knows the process, and it's a long process. And it isn't, you know, from doing more research, it isn't just editing the plan, it's involving the community, involving planning and zoning, involving the fire and response people, reaching out to our surrounding communities. And the bottom line is it's more of a scope. The scope is greater than I had initially anticipated. It's not just editing a document, it's a process. And I have a plan for that. David and I have been talking quite a bit, and I've talked with Kathy, and what I wanted to, for the record for tonight, is here's a draft schedule. I think it's actually, do you have handouts?
I have it.
Yeah, you can hand, and this is really for the record.
This is the second page that he's referencing.
I'm calling this the town planning process. It starts in September. These are tasks. I don't have my glasses, so I can't really read them all. But it's about a 7-month process. Oh.
This one has colors too. That one.
Okay, and it's, the tasks are organize the resources, convene a team, conduct outreach, review the community capabilities, conduct risk assessment, identify mitigation goals and actions, develop an action plan, identify plan maintenance, review the first draft, submit the first draft to VEMA, Vermont Emergency Management, and then to FEMA, and then accept the plan. And this is September through July. It's all reasonable. I did read, this is, nice color and everything. So I did read, the handout that Kathy just handed out is from our existing plan. And on the existing plan, it says how we're gonna conduct this 5-year update. Now, there's been a bunch of FEMA changes, I guess, since then, but this identifies in detail what we said we were gonna do when we wrote the first plan. And basically, it's what, in greater detail than what I just said on that schedule. It would be, it's in greater detail than the task that I just read, but pretty much the same stuff. But it isn't just editing the plan. And so I'd like to go into executive session to discuss a personnel issue to continue this conversation about providing a solution for how I think we should go forward with this. I'd like to make a motion we exit executive session on a personnel matter.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, and we're just formally announcing as a part of the discussion the agenda item of hazard mitigation planning that Kathy Ainsworth, as our Fairfield Emergency Management Director, will be leading the update, and she will utilize the expertise from David and Brian and others in the community as the 7-month process goes forward. And we've got all the details. I won't go into it in all the details, but our document shows all the details from our existing plan that will be required to update the plan, and we look forward to successfully or synergistically working with Northwest Regional Planning, VEMA, and FEMA to update our plan to serve our community. Old business.
So, the ethics question from last meeting, looking at what we have for conflict of interest in ethical conduct policy, which was signed in 2018, to what is the state's version of the state has now a municipal ethics policy. That policy that we have does not abide by the same statute. The statute is actually, that's cited, has been rescinded. It doesn't include, our policy doesn't include any of the current definitions or any of the current information that's in the new municipal ethics policy. If we rescind this policy, which is the Fairfield ethics, conflicts of interest and ethical conduct policy, if we rescind this, then the municipal ethics policy at the state level, which is state statute, will become our policy. So by doing that, the question from our last meeting that Brian had asked, does our policy include this information? No, it does not. But the state municipal ethics policy does. So in order for us to comply with what is required by statute, we should be going by that policy and not this policy.
Okay, so you want to make a motion where we rescind our current ethics policy? Then that'll solve the problem?
That'll solve that problem.
That'll bring us into compliance? Okay, that's my motion.
Yeah, let's make some more paperwork. I love Montpelier. This is,
No, this one is no more paperwork.
yeah,
That's no more paperwork, so.
Okay.
I second that.
yeah.
So you don't have to do it.
That we do not need to do. We don't need to do anything to this policy if it's rescinded, and the state statute becomes our municipal
So we
ethics
have to
policy.
adopt that as a policy.
It just like if we don't have a policy for dog catching, it goes to the state statute. If we don't have a policy for something, it goes to the state statute. We don't have to actually formally adopt the municipal ethics policy unless we want to add to it. So it'll just become the state statute. Our policy is that policy.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You want to vote? You want to, yeah.
Vote on that. Moved and seconded.
Mr. Haskins, all those in favor?
Aye.
That being said, going back to the other requirements of this law, we have to have a municipal ethics policy enforcement document, which I've handed out a few times.
Did you make any changes from the last time?
The only change that I made to it was that I added the information about, where is it? Here it is. It just cites what I had already said we should put on the website. It just cites what we need to put. This is the purpose. The purpose, the state law requires municipalities to enact procedures to investigate complaints that allege a municipal officer has violated the municipal code of conduct of ethics, and to enforce against substantiated complaints,
That's the change.
including developing methods of enforcement and available remedies. Below is the town of Fairfield's process for investigation and enforcement of ethical violations, an ethics complaint form and the contact information for the town ethics liaison. So that section was added. The rest of it is the same. The only thing that is still missing is if somebody files a complaint against anybody, this would make sense. But if anybody ever filed a complaint about the town administrator, somebody else has to direct the process. So we haven't named who that would be. It's an empty space on the document. And I was curious, who do you think that should be?
So we just rescinded our ethics policy and now we fall under the state policy. And now we have to have our own investigation thing, there's not
That's
state
correct.
policy.
So the state
It's a
law, the
requirement.
state law requires each town to
Right,
have.
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I
If
get
this-
it, I get it.
Just write the select board.
So I'll make a motion that we adopt this. We've reviewed it in the past, we've had a chance, and I make, in addition to that, in the motion, I would say that the chair would handle any investigation for the
I think the
administrator.
whole board should do it, don't you?
So the first section is how to file a complaint, so it'll go to the chair instead of me. The initial review is whoever the select board decides should do the review. So then the third part, if you get to that point,
I think when I say the chair, that means just who's directed to, but can we just do the select board like Tom suggests? If it's against the administrator?
yeah, we need to have a way that a document can get to this process without me involved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it
we'll
goes-
send it to, what's select board?
Select board, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, you guys all have emails and stuff, which would be,
I
Well,
think
so does the
there's-
select board.
Yeah, there's a
The select board
Yeah,
has.
but we're overthinking it.
Yeah.
It can go to the
Okay,
select
we
board.
have that
Yeah.
right to make. So, yeah, so, yeah, the gist of it is that a complaint is filed and it either comes to me or you.
Okay.
There's initial review, which is just deciding if it's valid or
This is
not.
all for the law, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay,
then there's
that's my
investigation.
that's my motion.
Got it.
Okay,
Second,
I'll second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that
I
too.
don't know the line yet.
Aye.
Yep.
All in favor? Good.